you're a young person watching this, stop worrying about job title. You can't be living at home with moms and afraid to put on a security uniform and carry a flashlight. Go out here and get your money. We get so caught up in status and trying to look cool for social media. Go put on your security uniform and get out of your mom's house. It's okay to have multiple jobs. It's okay to grind in your early 20s. Not everybody's gonna go viral. Not everybody's gonna be TikTok famous. Go out here and get 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. That way, by the time you hit 30 years old, sky's the limit. Welcome back to the channel. This is Can I Be Earnest? For those of you who are new to the channel, I'd like to welcome you all. When I'm not making videos of interest, I'm usually doing social commentary. Why? Because everyone else does. Well, here we are on this beautiful autumn weekday afternoon, reporting live from my car in the parking lot of my 9 to 5. You know, recently I made a video about 9 to 5 and, you know, how it's best to just milk it for what you need it for and get the hell out. And those words still remain true. But as I make this video with about 25 minutes left of my 30-minute lunch break, I'd be remiss not to give some type of helpful advice for those of you who are confused about the 9 to 5 thing. You know, there may be some questions like, how do I get out? Or how do I avoid it? What can I do to just get out of it entirely? Open this window. Do I even have to go to a 9 to 5? And the answer is no, you don't. For those of you who are watching who are young, you know, early 20s, who just haven't found your way yet in whatever profession you're looking to get into, if you are hesitant about a 9 to 5, it's fine. There are many solutions. One of the solutions that I always advise, and it's something that I need to take my own advice in personally, is just getting a bunch of licenses and certifications. You may need the budget for some of these things because some of these licenses may cost. Obtaining certificates may cost, but it's super important to obtain as many certifications and licenses as you can just to increase your portfolio, just to make you the jack of all trades, the super employee, somebody with value. CPR certification, forklift certification, get your security license, real estate license. Just keep obtaining as many certs and licenses as you can. Again, some of these things cost. Some of them may be free depending on your profession. If you happen to work for a real estate company or in the title industry, you know, a lot of companies offer testing for free. Just to keep something in mind so you don't think your only options are 9 to 5. You know, if you're a young person right now who may not like getting up in the mornings, don't be afraid to get your security license. There's this stigma of becoming a security officer, you know, a flashlight cop. Oh my gosh, you're not a real cop. Well, duh. You know, the benefits of being in security, you know, you can pretty much work any shift you wish. If you're not an early person and you like to get up late, you can work afternoon shifts. You can do a 4 to 12. You can do it overnight if you're somebody who can't sleep at night and get paid. Why not? Get your security license. You know, back in the day, you know, my early 20s, security was one of my first real jobs. You know, working front desk security in a corporate building. I never renewed my license once it expires. I think it expires every 2 years or 2-3 years. So it's important to renew it so you don't have to go through the testing again. But why not re-up? If you like freedom and independence, you can run your car to the ground doing DoorDash or Instacart in the mornings, and then from 4 to 12 or whatever, do security or work the overnight shift where there's very little management above you. Not saying you can do as you please, but if you're somebody who doesn't like to be around a lot of people or have a boss hounding you or being on top of you, there's your freedom right there. Work overnights, maybe sleep a little bit in the morning, and then run your car to the ground doing Grubhub. There's so many options these days with all the job apps that we have on our phone. You can skip a 9 to 5 like it's nobody's business. Again, that's if you're apprehensive about the whole thing. Once upon a time, it was thought to be that the 9 to 5 world was like the end all be all. It meant something to wear a suit going to work with a silly briefcase every day. Fancy suits and sharp ties and and clean shaven face. You know, that was a thing back in the day, 70s, 80s, 90s. That meant something, being a Wall Street, you know, stockbroker or some financial advisor or financial analyst, because it was thought that that's how you made money, with a white collar job. And that's not true. We know there's a million professions where you can make bank. A million blue collar jobs where you can make bank. A million trade jobs where you can make bank. And making big money is all subjective anyway. It's really about lifestyle. And I'm noticing a few videos popping up now where people are actually getting annoyed with those who are making videos about their 9-to-5s and how much they hate it. So people are saying, like, you know, stop complaining and stop whining. So, you know, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Everybody is so caught up in the old school way of thinking. You can punch some of these videos up. These complaints are valid most of the time. You know, my last video about the 9-to-5 was more so about giving reasons to why I went back and how there are some pros and cons to working a 9-to-5. Probably more cons. I'm not one to make videos to say get out because it's cool to say get out. I'm going to give you the pros. I'm going to give you the cons. And as somebody who's experienced it for a long time, there are certainly some pros with working a 9-to-5. And we all know this. We know the stability that a 9-to-5 offers, benefits, 401k plans. We know the routine. But the cons outweigh the pros, if you want to be perfectly honest. Back to the point in hand. Don't be afraid to be a flashlight cop. Don't worry about job title if you're 22, 23 years old. The information that I'm giving is primarily for those who are just in a state of confusion right now. Whether you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s, where you're just like, man, I have no way out. I don't know how to get out of this situation. Oh, there's plenty of options. We've got to put our egos aside and stop worrying about reputation. You know, who cares if you work security? Who cares if you're driving a car all day and picking up groceries for Instacart? Who cares if you're a Grubhub driver or a DoorDash person? It's about what you plan to do with your earnings. How do you plan to afford your lifestyle? Don't be one of these bozos with violations all over your license where you can't do certain things, where you can't drive a car. You know, options are good. Take advantage of all the opportunities out here. Take advantage of all these certifications and licenses you can get. You know, you don't need a CDL to be an Amazon driver. You don't need a CDL to be a logistics driver. You can drive urine samples throughout your city if it's available. Picking up urine samples and going from hospital to hospital. If you don't want a boss, there's so many ways, but you got to keep your license clean. You can't be one of these dummies, you know, drinking and driving or being under the influence. Keep your license clean. Try to keep a decent record. You know, jobs are hiring plentiful right now, whether you have a record or not. But just try to be the super employee, you know, the Swiss Army knife employee. That way, by the time you hit 30, if you're a 20-something-year-old, by the time you hit 30, 35, and you're not married and don't have kids, you now can have a little flexibility with your earnings. Think about if you're a 22-year-old right now, fresh out of college, you know, debt out the ass, and you're still living at home. Another video that I have out right now, but you're still living at home. I would be going ham. I don't even know if people still say ham, but I'd be going ham with the jobs right now. I'd wake up in the morning and do a 3-hour, 4-hour tour of Instacart, then a little DoorDash, maybe drive some urine samples around, and then do security late in the evening or something like that. Wash, rinse, repeat for about 3-4 years if my parents allow me to stay in their home. Take advantage of these jobs, man. You could stay out of the 9-to-5, and by the time you hit 30, you might have tens of thousands of dollars saved. You just don't know. But to jump into the 9-to-5 workforce, if it's not something you want to do, I would advise don't do it. Because you're going to be drained. Here I am on a 30-minute lunch break, not even eating lunch. Because how the hell can you eat lunch in 30 minutes? I don't scarf my food down like that. So I said, why not? It's a nice day. I'll sit in the car, sweat a little bit, and make a video. But these are ways to circumvent the 9-to-5 if you are having doubts whether you should enter or not. There's options everywhere. If you have a vehicle, if you don't have a vehicle, be a flashlight cop. It's okay. Who cares what the girls? Who cares what the ladies think? You got a job. You're not doing this for the ladies. No one cares that you're doing rounds in your building and doing logs every hour and checking to see if the doors are secure. Nobody cares. What you care about is that paycheck each week or every 2 weeks. And that's another thing. These jobs with their bi-weekly pay. We work too many hours to just sit back and wait for 2 weeks. So if you're somebody, when I was younger, I was working temp jobs. I like getting paid every week, $500-$600. I know that's not sustainable for a lot of people who, have bills and have their budgets set a certain way. But if I'm a 20-something-year-old right now, find you a temp job where you get weekly pay, where your work paid off within the week. And squeeze in these other jobs, these little odd-end jobs where you can get more income coming in. And pay yourself first. Don't pay these bills first. Pay yourself first, then pay your bills. But be wise when you pay yourself. You set a little to the side. Because this is not forever. You can't run your car to the ground and put all that mileage and wear and tear in your car for 10 years. You've got to set up a plan. I'm going to do this for 3 years and get out. I'm going to do this for 5 years and get out. Whatever. But you got a budget and you got a plan. By the time you hit 30, you have more freedom than you ever expected. Just some words of wisdom. I want to see more of us utilize our brain power. I believe we only use like 2-3% of our brain. I could be getting my numbers wrong, but we've got to be smart. You don't have to make 6 figures. You don't have to make high 5 figures to have a good life. You just have to know how to budget and be smart with your money. But the job title doesn't matter. So if you don't want to get into a boring field in your early 20s, you don't have to. Be smart about it. There's options.